guys, it's Franky. Welcome to the Think Tank. So let's talk about Letecia Stauch. We know that she's just going through jury selection with her case, and then it's looking like April 3rd could be our start date for this trial. So let's take a look at what's going on. So here, the attorneys are battling it out as to whether or not some of this information can be put out there. Let's see. That's Letecia. Attorneys sparred over evidence to be used in the murder trial of Letecia Stauch, accused of unaliving her 11-year-old stepson, Gannon Stauch, 2 years ago, which is now longer because this one actually came out a little while ago, like a year or two ago, but it's one of the few articles out there that are talking about some of the different wiretaps. Fourth Judicial District Judge Gregory Warner ruled that several motions filed by the defense for Letecia Stauch and the prosecutors in her case Thursday afternoon, several of which would have to do with information obtained through warrants that the defense attorneys want suppressed. So this is probably going to be those phones. So 38 years old and accused of first-degree unaliving in the death of her stepson, Gannon Stauch, back in January 2020, along with abuse resulting in death, tampering with a body, and with tampering with physical evidence. Authorities found Gannon in Florida under a bridge in a suitcase sometime after 2 p.m., January 27, 2020. Among the motions discussed was one to suppress incriminating information obtained on an Apple iPhone, and another to suppress incriminating information obtained from ADT Security Services alarm system listing Letecia Stauch's phone number. In both, defense attorney Josh Tellini said in court that the search warrants used to obtain information from the phone and security system were overly broad, failing to include date ranges of both motions. Prosecutor Angelina Gritano said they weren't, and that the court should find probable cause in them. Werner said he agreed the iPhone warrant wasn't overly broad and that date ranges may not apply to the ADT warrant, and both were denied. Defense attorneys also made a bid to suppress the wiretap evidence obtained from the two phones Stauch allegedly obtained and used after the El Paso County Sheriff's Office seized her original phone for their investigation, and argued that the motion in court Thursday as well. Werner, however, found there was probable cause for those warrants to have been signed, noting investigators suspected a homicide by the time Stauch's obtained the first replacement phone. Also discussed was a January 10th letter to the Colorado Mental Health Institute in Pueblo, where Werner ordered at the last hearing Stauch would be evaluated. Werner said per letter that two professionals were working Stauch's case, but due to the enormity of the discovery and records in the case, wouldn't be able to have their report until March 31st. We start March 28th, which is potentially problematic. So again, this was, we're up to April 3rd. This is an older, and this date has been bumped. The problem, however, will be handled at a future court date. Werner also discussed that with the attorneys, some of the logistical plans he made trial. He reaffirmed both sides of the trial will likely last around 6 weeks. And that's where they're saying anywhere from 6 weeks to 2 months. Werner noted that while he expected another pushback, he planned to require attorneys to tether their electronics to the tables they sat at during trial. He said that was to prevent laptops from potentially falling off the table or being used last minute. Prosecutors in September presented evidence linking Stauch to the murder, including blood linked to Gannon that was found on his shoe. Tracking data showed, on her shoe, I guess. Tracking data showed she had traveled to an area near where Gannon's body was found, and her DNA was found on a gun tied to the killing. She literally shot him and then used a pointy object. I think they said something like 19 times. FBI agent Andrew Cohen testified in September that Stauch was the only person investigators believe could have committed this crime. True enough. So, yeah, just absolutely blows my mind. This little guy was 11 years old. Okay, let's see here. Back it up.
The first-degree murder trial of an El Paso County woman, Letecia Stauch, is accused of killing her 11-year-old stepson, Gannon Stauch, in January of 2020 and dumping his body under a highway bridge in Florida. News 5's Ashley Portillo listened to the first day of jury selection. She joins us in studio with a look at what happened. Ashley.
Well, Allison, with this being such a high-profile case and the length of this trial, the judge had said that jury selection could last up to 2 weeks. Then the trial and presenting of all the evidence in this case is expected to take about 6 weeks. Now, the day started today with 75 potential jurors showing up to court this morning. Many of them told the judge they do have conflicts like work, school, and health concerns. Others said that they do have strong feelings about crimes involving children or have already formed their own opinions on this case. So by midday today, more than half of those potential jurors had already been dismissed. Today, I also spoke with a retired judge about the jury selection process in a case like this.
The fact that it's been a period of time, 3 years, and has lapsed, that there will be many people, many jurors that won't have a distinct recollection about what's going on. And that'll make it easier on both the prosecution and the defense to be able to say, okay, your knowledge about this case is very limited. That's the kind of jury that we're looking for at this point in time.
Prosecutors were then given 2 minutes to present their case against Letecia Stauch. DA Michael Allen gave a timeline of those events and then described Gannon's injuries, which did include burns, stab wounds, blunt force trauma, and a gunshot wound to his head. The defense also spoke afterwards, saying, quote, "You will not hear any type of reasonable explanation why Letecia Stauch would have done this." They also said that during trial, you'll also hear from friends, neighbors, teachers, and other people saying Letecia was a loving stepmom, but that her mental health was declining. Now, for trial, 12 qualified jurors will be selected, along with 6 alternates. And opening statements in that trial are expected to begin on April 3rd. Judge Gregory Warner also said that prosecutors and the defense should be finished presenting all of that evidence in mid to late May. Allison.
Ashley,
So, yeah, they do believe that this is going to be anywhere from 6 weeks to 2 months to get all of this information out and get the jury into deliberations. Sad. So Letecia Stauch's second Sanity report. Findings announced, jury selection continues. And this was yesterday. So this would be the prosecutors, Letecia, and Gannon. Attorneys representing Letecia Stauch revealed Tuesday that their psychiatrist concluded in her report that Stauch was insane and in a psychotic state at the time of Gannon's unaliving. Stepmonster is accused of unaliving her 11-year-old stepson Gannon Stauch in January 2020 and driving his body to Florida, where she attempted to dispose of her remains. So she appeared in court for her second day of trial wearing light blue button-up shirt, dress pants. There's no picture of that. The filings of the defense sanity report conducted by Dr. Dorothy Lewis were unknown until Tuesday, when defense attorney Josh Tellini informed the potential jurors in the courtroom that his expert found Stauch to be insane. Oh, wow. Is that okay? Can they do that? Records show that the report was filed to the court on Thursday after significant complaints from the 4th Judicial District Attorney Michael Allen about not receiving the report at the pretrial readiness conference earlier in the month. Allen said that Stauch's pretrial conference that if the report was not received before trial, the prosecution would move to remove or exclude Dr. Lewis from testifying. Allen said not having the report bordered on bad faith from the defense expert. This is disrespect to the court's deadlines, Allen said in a pretrial readiness conference. I've never seen anything like this. So we know that this, again, is a small area and that these people have all worked together many, many times. So I'm sure if they start pulling unethical things, they're going to get called out on it. So her first sanity report was filed with the court. The defendant's report had yet to be filed. Delays in the case have occurred in part because of the sanity evaluation. Initially, Stauch, 39, pled not guilty to the charges, but in February 2022, Werner granted her permission to change her plea to not guilty by reason of insanity. The first mental health evaluation conducted by the psychiatric hospital in Pueblo found her to be sane. Tuesday marked the first time that the findings of the sanity evaluation had been revealed. The woman conducting the evaluation, Dr. Lewis, is a former clinical professor of psychiatry at Yale University. Oh, holy. The author of several books on the topic and of the insanity plea and the subject of the documentary Crazy Not Insane. The documentary outlines Lewis's work with notorious killers such as Ted Bundy, Arthur Shawcross, John Allen Muhammad, and many others. Lewis is expected to testify at some point during the trial. The first day of trial on Monday, the court spent 7 hours trimming the group of 75 down to 20. Attorneys plan to spend 2 weeks selecting a group of 110, so we know that they've whittled that down already. Many potential jurors will be unable to present for the entirety of the trial. Others have been exposed to media coverage. And again, they're saying that this should last through mid-May. Concerns over the length of the trial arose Monday when 48 of the 75 potential jurors told Werner that the length of the trial would be a significant issue. And that's the thing, they are having problems finding people that can stay for that length of time. Others today told Werner that past experiences with CA would make it difficult for them to serve. Absolutely. In contrast to Monday, a significant portion of the potential jurors informed Werner that there was no way they could be unbiased if chosen to be on the jury. Things like, my mind is made up. I just don't believe she's insane. I know I couldn't change my mind. This is what the potential jurors are saying. Many on Monday stated they had a bias, also indicated to the court that they'd be willing to try and hear out the evidence and presume Stauch is innocent despite prior exposure to the media. So if I remember correctly, they are getting 16. They are getting 16. And, the last trial we watched, they had 4 extra alternates like this, and they ended up by the end of the trial just with 1. extra. Everyone ended up, like a large percentage of them ended up leaving. They got that coronavirus, so they have to be careful. There's a lot of different reasons why they can deke out. So these are the charges. Count 1, murder in the first degree. Count 2, murder in the first degree. Count 3, child abuse resulting in death. Count 4, tampering with a deceased human body. Count 5, tampering with physical evidence. Count 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, crime of violence, all of them. 11, 12, and 13, also crime of violence. Okay, so count 1 in first degree, on or about January 27th, 2020, Letecia Stauch unlawfully, feloniously, after deliberation and with the intent to cause death of a person other than herself, caused the death of Gannon Stauch in violation of Section 18-3. Count 2, on or about January 27, 2020, Letecia Stauch unlawfully, feloniously, and knowing caused the death of Gannon Stauch, a child who was not yet attained 12 years of age. Count 3, child abuse resulting in death, on about January 2020, Letecia Stauch unlawfully, feloniously, knowingly or recklessly caused injury to or permitted to be unreasonably placed in a situation that posed a threat of injury to the life of and health of a child, namely Gannon Stauch, and engaged in continued pattern of conduct that resulted in cruel punishment, mistreatment, or an accumulation of injuries that resulted in the death of the child. 4, on or about 27th, 2020, Letecia Stauch, believing that an original proceeding was pending, in progress, or about to be instituted, and acting without legal right or authority, unlawfully and feloniously, willingly destroyed, mutilated, concealed, removed, or altered a human body, part of a human body, or human remains with intent to impair its or their appearance or availability in the official proceedings. What the hell did this woman do to that child? Oh my God. We know that the injuries are unreal. On or about January 27, 2020, Letecia Stauch unlawfully used or possessed and threatened the use of deadly weapon, namely firearm, during the commission of attempting commission of conspiracy to commit or the immediate flight from the offense of murder in the first degree. Count 7, January 27th, 2020, Letecia Stauch unlawfully used or possessed, threatened the use of deadly weapon, namely blunt instrument, during the commission of attempted commission of conspiracy to commit or the immediate flight from the offense of murder in the first degree. Count 8, on or about January 27th, 2020, Letecia Stauch unlawfully used or possessed, threatened the use of a deadly weapon, namely a knife or other sharp instruments, during the commission of attempted commission of conspiracy to commit or the immediate flight from the offense of murder in the first degree. Count 9, on or about 27th, 2020 of January, Letecia Stauch, during the commission, attempted commission of conspiracy to commit or immediate flight from the crime of murder in the first degree. On or about January 27th, 2020, Letecia Stauch unlawfully used or possessed and threatened the use of a deadly weapon, namely firearm, during the commission of attempted commission of conspiracy to commit or the immediate flight from the offense of murder in first degree, a child under 12 years of age, as charged in count 2. 11, on or about January 27, 2020, Letecia Stauch unlawfully used or possessed and threatened the use of deadly weapon, namely blunt instrument, during the commission of, attempted commission of, conspiracy to commit, or the immediate flight from the offense of murder in the first degree. 12, January 27, 2020, Letecia Stauch unlawfully used or possessed and threatened use of a deadly weapon, namely a knife or other sharp instrument, during the commission of, attempted commission of, conspiracy to commit, or the immediate flight from the offense of murder in the first degree. Count 13, on or about January 27, 2020, Letecia Stauch, during the commission, attempted commission of, conspiracy to commit, or immediate flight from the crime of murder in the first degree, child under 12 years of age, as charged in count 2. And this is dated March 20th, 2020. So this trial, like I say, it's maybe, well, April 3rd, and we're on March 22nd. So it is just around the corner. It's not looking good for her. Let's hope that she doesn't pull the wool over anybody's eyes. This child did not have this coming. This is the t-shirt that they put him in. I'm hurt my little brother. I'm a liar. I'm a cheat. Oh my goodness. And that was the shirt that he left in. He left in that and a pair of shorts. I think my last video, I've got a good description of everything he was wearing. So that's where I'm going to leave this for now. Let's hope that justice is served, friends. So with that, I'm going to thank you very much for spending this time with me. I appreciate you, and I'll absolutely see you in the next one. Bye.